Good evening. Welcome to CSB IAS Academy Current Affairs Bulletin. Today's news. Today is one of the great freedom fighter, particularly a feminist and an activist and an educator and a social reformer. Particularly, she also pioneered cancer treatment in India. Her name is Dr. Muthulakshmi Reddy. 134th birth anniversary of Dr. Muthulakshmi Reddy. She was an educator, a surgeon, a lawmaker, and a social reformer. Today is her 134th birth anniversary. Dr. Muthulakshmi Reddy is the first Indian woman legislator, and she was a campaigner for women's rights. And she pioneered the beginning of biggest cancer institute in India. Muthulakshmi Reddy was born in 1886 in Tamil Nadu, and she was a first girl student to study in Maharaja College, Pudukottai, in Maharaja College. She was also the first and the only woman candidate in the medical college in 1907. She was influenced by Gandhi's and Annie Besant's political thought, and she is also a famous follower of Theosophical Society. She wrote her biography, My Experience as a Legislator, her autobiography, My Experience as a Legislator. And she was a famous person in Indian Women's Association or Women's Indian Association. She was associated with Women's Indian Association activities and she took part in various child welfare activities also. She was a very famous woman behind anti-polygamy bill. And Dr. Muthulakshmi was the first woman to get into Madras Corporation in 1937. And she was the first woman to get into Total Men's College, Maharaja College. Today, Muthulakshmi Reddy's birthday, Dr. Muthulakshmi Reddy's. Suddenly, we can expect such unsung heroes before independence. Particularly, I can say she was an unsung feminist of India. Dr. Muthulakshmi Reddy, you are expected to study about her in detail. Dr. Muthulakshmi Reddy. She has not directly participated in the freedom struggle, but for her, the inspiration is Gandhi and Annie Besant, and she particularly worked for women's rights. Indirectly, she supported freedom movement. Dr. Muthulakshmi Reddy. Next important news: India Bangladesh bilateral relations. India Bangladesh bilateral relations. India on 27th July handed over 10 broad gauge locomotives to Bangladesh. Bangladesh needs a lot of infrastructure support in the trains. So India have given 10 broad gauge locomotives to Bangladesh. The locomotives were flagged off virtually by our External Affairs Minister, Mr. Jaishankar, Mr. Piyush Goyal, our Railway Minister, and Bangladesh Foreign Minister Abdul Momen and Railway Minister Nurul Islam Sujan. And Mr. Momen, Bangladesh Foreign Minister, said, connectivity is productivity. He gave a tagline, connectivity is productivity. And Sheikh Hasina and Indian Prime Minister, even our External Affairs Minister, they all viewed this relationship, particularly India-Bangladesh relationship from past 5 years, is a golden chapter and reach new heights. We are in the golden chapter of Indo-Bangladesh relations. Here I wish to tell few points about India-Bangladesh relations. The first thing, India shares longest border with Bangladesh, 4,096 square kilometers. India and Bangladesh are partners in SAARC. They also share many values together. In fact, in 1971, India supported Bangladesh liberation. But if you see at the present context, Bangladesh, day by day, is becoming closer to China, particularly in the economic issues. Our NRC comments, NRC bill is also, our citizenship bill is also a cause of concern for Bangladesh. And let's see how India and Bangladesh are going to share their values in future, particularly in the economic sense. And Bangladesh always complain that India has trade surplus in Bangladesh and Bangladesh is facing trade deficit with India. This is also the complaint of Bangladesh. But India and Bangladesh had a very good land boundary agreement few years back, and let's hope that India and Bangladesh go together. And next important news, finally, Rajasthan governor gives approval to conduct legislative assembly session from August 14th. Let's hope that the crisis in Rajasthan will come to an end and Rajasthan will have a stable government. Next important news, AIIB, Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. There is a news which we need to understand about AIIB. India is the largest borrower. India is the largest borrower, which accounts for 25% of total lending by AIIB. That means out of total lending given by AIIB, India have taken 25%. As a part of its efforts to improve connectivity, AIIB is trying to provide more loans to India, particularly rail infrastructure, road infrastructure projects. So let's hope now this year AIIB is aiming to give around $3 billion to India again. And AIIB, Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, was formed in 2016 and the headquarters are at Beijing. You are expected to read more about AIIB in this respect. The beautiful news from science and technology today. NASA's Mars mission, Perseverance rover 2020, NASA's Mars mission 2020 Perseverance rover was lifted off few hours back. The Mars Perseverance rover, the rover which was launched by NASA, is expected to land on the Mars on February 18th, 2021. So next year on February 18th, it is expected to land on the Mars after covering a distance of 300 million miles. The main aim of the Perseverance rover is to seek whether there was any life there or types of soil, collecting the rocks, and some samples it will bring to the earth. The duration of this mission is expected to be at least one Mars year. One Mars year is equal to 687 days in the earth. 687 days in the earth. And the rover is going to land on the, is going to launch its lander on February 18th, 2021. And the landing site of the rover will be Jezero crater. Jezero, Jezero, Jezero crater on the Mars. And for your information, this last month, the entire month of July, I have seen Chinese Mars mission, Tianwen mission, UAE Mars mission, Hope mission, and NASA's Perseverance rover. In fact, NASA's Mars mission is not first one. NASA has a very strong and incredible journey in the Mars. It started 23 years back. In 1997, the Mars Pathfinder mission with Sojourner rover. The first rover which NASA sent to the Mars was Sojourner, Sojourner, Sojourner rover. Again in 2003, NASA have sent twin rovers, Spirit and Opportunity. Spirit and Opportunity. In 2012, NASA have sent Curiosity rover. Actually, it was sent on 2011. It reached in 2012. Curiosity rover. And this Curiosity rover in Mars belonged to NASA was continuous even today. It was in operational mode even today. With each rover generation, by the time we are sending more and more rovers, particularly NASA is sending more and more rovers, the science, the technology, and the complexity also improved. And the first mission, that was Pathfinder mission Sojourner rover, is like a toy. Now, if you listen to Perseverance rover, it is even carrying a helicopter to the Mars. The name of the helicopter is Ingenuity. Perseverance rover is also carrying a helicopter to the Mars. The name of the helicopter is Ingenuity. This is for the first time the world is sending a helicopter to the other planet. Even this is the achievement today, we can say about this. And the next important news for today, apart from science and technology, in today's Hindu paper, you can see the editorial Nepal's turmoil and India Nepal relations. In Nepal, in the present ruling party, Nepal Communist Party, there was some turmoil. And KP Oli, the Prime Minister of Nepal, is facing tough times from the other faction, Prachanda faction. So, what might happen in Nepal might be Oli can continue, or he may discontinue. That is different issue. Oli is holding two posts in Nepal now, as a Nepal Prime Minister and Nepal Communist Party chairperson. As a Nepal Prime Minister and Nepal Communist Party chairperson. Here, we should understand 2 3 points about Mr. Oli. Oli have tinge over China. Oli wanted to maintain very good relationship with China. This is the first thing. And second thing, the recent comments of Oli. Oli said that Lord Rama's birthplace is in Nepal, not in Ayodhya. And Oli's adventures with respect to Kala Pani, with respect to claiming of Indian territory, is also a big issue. Whereas the Prachanda faction, particularly Prachanda, is pro India, Oli is pro China. So let's see how things turn over in Nepal. Let's see how Indian interests will survive in Nepal. And you all know that in Nepal in 2015, new constitution came into existence. And the new constitution have treated Madeshis, who are also called as half Indians, as secondary citizens. India have a lot of contentious issues at present with respect to Nepalese treatment of Madeshis, number one, Nepalese aggrandizement over Kalapan issues, number two, and number three, Nepal China friendship, and Mr. Oli's harsh comments and criticism on India. India is carefully watching all these adventures of Mr. Oli. Next important news, again international news. PM Modi today virtually inaugurated Mauritius Supreme Court building. PM Modi and Mauritius Prime Minister Pravind Kumar Jugannath jointly inaugurated Mauritius Supreme Court building, and it is supported, the building construction is supported by India. So, why India is concerned about neighboring countries, Indian Ocean countries? That is an important point which you need to understand. Here, I wish to add two more points. Few years back, PM Modi have emphasized a concept called SAGAR, SAGAR, security and growth for all in the region, SAGAR. So, this is one thing which Modi emphasized. And in India, our Ministry of Culture also started a project called Project Mausam to reconnect cultural ties with the Indian Ocean countries, Indian Ocean neighboring countries. We also have a project called Project Mausam. And the most important fact, which is very important for films this year, India became observer in Indian Ocean Commission, IOC. Recently, 3 months back, India became an observer in IOC. Who are the members in IOC? In IOC, Comoros, Madagascar, Mauritius, Seychelles, Reunion Islands are the members. So recently, India got observer status in Indian Ocean Commission. Even this is very important. So Indian Ocean connectivity and friendship with strategic interest with Indian Ocean countries is very important for India. And in this respect, the inauguration of Supreme Court building by Prime Minister Modi and Mauritius Prime Minister is really an important thing, significant thing for India. You need to remember that. And the next important news for today, uh, actually, COVID 19. is increasing in India. Though fatality rate is very less, but the infection rate, almost we have crossed 15 lakhs in India. There is all probability that it might further increase in India. And there is a concept called herd immunity, HERD, herd immunity. In India, as it is a largest populous country, we should not aspire for herd immunity. You might get a question, what is herd immunity? What do you mean by herd immunity actually? Herd immunity refers to a situation where the spread of disease is stopped naturally by people, most of the people, 50 to 80%, 60%, 70% of the people getting the antibodies by being explored to the particular, if people are more and more exposed to the particular disease, particular virus, automatically antibodies will be created in their body and they might get immunity, number one. Or by massive vaccination process, people might get immunity. In India, we cannot wait till the people get herd immunity. As the largest populous country, it takes a lot of toll if you wait for herd immunity. So herd immunity in this context here means, if virus spreads to large number of people, if large number of people are exposed to the virus, what how can India deal with this situation? So better to wait for a vaccine rather than waiting for the herd immunity in this context, because if more and more people in the largest populous country, densely populous country, are exposed to the virus, it might affect the people, it might affect our healthcare system, it might affect our economic system, and it can also affect our psyche. So there's one more word which you need to understand here: social vaccine. What is social vaccine? Social vaccine means strict adherence to norms of physical distance, hand hygiene, using masks or face covers. Using masks or face covers. Even this is very important. We need to use masks or face covers. Herd immunity, it can be by natural way or by vaccination. So it is not correct to wait up to herd immunity. We need to take a very prudent action on this. The next important news: ADB, Asian Development Bank, approves $3 million grant to India to combat COVID, coronavirus. And ADB, based in Manila, multilateral funding agency, it actually helped India by giving 3 million grant aid to actually to fight against COVID. So these are all the important news in the headlines today. And the most important news, which I already made a video, is National New Education Policy 2020. And the name of HRD Ministry was changed into Education Ministry. And the full details I have made in a separate video. Already I have uploaded. You can see that. Tomorrow we will meet with new current affairs. Thank you.